A very warm welcome to everyone tuning in today. My name is Eshani Gupta. I'm a senior consultant here at Thoughtium and your host for today's Navigating Now. We are on episode 111 of Navigating Now today. We go live every Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time, come rain or shine. And you can find all our episodes on thoughtium.com/live. I am super pumped today to welcome Hisham Beydoun, a multicultural, multilingual, professional certified coach, a coach who trains new life and executive coaches. He is a meditation teacher, a musician for whom family, adventure, and spirituality are the biggest drivers in life. And perhaps, which is why I always find so much to talk to him about as well. We speak to him today about his journey of becoming a coach and talk about his experience of working with senior leaders on leveling up with coaching into the executive space. So, very, very warm welcome to Hish. And for those of you listening in, Hish is also a fellow Babson alum. We both went to Babson College in Boston, and he was the president of the Graduate Student Council as well. So excited to have you here, Hish. How are you doing?
Oh, oh my goodness, Shawnee. I'm doing so well. It is such
Ah,
a pleasure. I couldn't be more excited to be here. Thanks, really. Thanks for having
same
me.
here. The energy you bring to just the room, when you're there, it's just incredible. I'm so excited to have you here. So,
Oh, thanks,
Hish,
Shawnee.
and Hish, why don't you introduce yourself? I did a little bit of an introduction, but let's hear about you from your own mouth.
Yeah, that was a cool introduction. I was like gonna like come back from like over the back here, but yeah, Heesh and I'm like a leadership nerd. This is it. This is it for me. Like I've landed, and I'm going to be doing some format of human potential work between now and the day I die. And so, but
Oh my
before
God, yeah.
this, which felt like almost like a blur, it's like it wasn't so long ago, but it feels like ages and ages ago. Consultant starting a small business at Babson with you. Before that, living in Lebanon with my
Yeah.
family and doing social work. So I was working with Syrian refugees. Before that, in New York City, working with adults with mental illness. And before that, a teacher. So that's kind of the more linear story. But really, today, meditation teacher, surfer, human potential nerd. Spend a good amount of time doing solos in the desert here. And also volunteering. I volunteer with refugee children down in Tijuana. So that's kind of
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
the full intro.
That's the full Hish, yeah. But what a strong thread of empathy and action throughout everything you've done, right from your volunteering to, being a human potential coach to, being a caretaker, everything, such a strong thread of empathy throughout, And I think someone
Yeah.
who's known you, I've always known that as such a strong facet about you. Tell us a little
Oh, thank
about,
you.
you know, tell us a little about your journey of becoming a coach. What was your first brush with coaching? How did you decide to become a coach?
Shawnee, it was when we were both in Babson, and we were.
Mm-hmm.
I was in there, and I was like stubborn. I was like, they do like they taught us some kind of like impossible trinity. It has to have some trade off, and my impossible trinity at that point was like, do something I love, own the entire thing on my own, and get paid really well to do it. And I was like, I'm gonna
Perfect.
figure it out. And I went out. I went on a mission. I went on a mission. I had no job when I left, but I was interviewing people, and I was kind of so it was a design process in the same way like we
Yeah.
built their businesses. And I eventually, after probably interviewing around 15 people, someone said, "Oh, it sounds like coaching," and it just like, "Oh, coaching." And I started talking to coaches, and the first coach I talked, I left feeling like, "Wow, who is that?" And I talked to another coach. I'm like, "Whoa, they're really impressive." And another one, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh wow." And that was enough for me to go back into coaching school.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Did you actually have experience kind of working with a coach before you decided to train as one?
I did like here and there, but not like a full
Mm-hmm.
time package. I
Yeah.
kind of seen enough. I didn't
You had a
need
sense of,
more.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. I'd seen
I
enough,
understand.
and my aunt had my aunt was a coach, so she was kind of working me through some stuff, and I was kind of getting
Yeah.
little flavors throughout the network of everybody. So once I tapped into it and my heart started pounding, and I'm like, these are my people.
It's the
And it's
Holy
just been more
Trinity.
levels of that.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm,
That's a,
mhm, mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
That's
Yeah, yeah,
amazing. So tell us a little about who do you coach? Like who's your typical client today? And
yeah.
what are some of the
It kind
things
of
you even
like,
coach on? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It kind of like freaks people out when I feel like I tell them like I'm not niched. And they're like, what? How do you not niched? Like, no, I'm actually not that niched. Um, I have two clients going through divorces. I have
Mm-hmm.
a couple of executives of smaller businesses, and I've also had a suite of VPs in really large businesses and interns, and
Yeah.
founders. So I don't niche down. Um, yes, two questions, Ashani. I think I answered the first and not the second.
Really, actually, you kind of answered both because I asked you, like, who's your typical client and what do you coach them on?
Yeah.
And what I'm getting from
Uh,
you is like, you don't really have a niche, it's really across the spectrum and even the things you're coaching on, which actually brings me
yeah.
to this. We were having this conversation and this understanding that is it safe to say the line between professional and personal coaching is probably blurring?
Yeah, yeah. There's good studies around this that if
Yeah.
you're showing the way you show up in your personal life and your professional life, the less varied those tend to be, there tends to be a correlation to satisfaction, happiness. Now, don't make this a
Hmm.
hard and true line. The way I like to explain it is like if you're wearing a mask every day on work
Yeah.
and then you're taking off your mask, that process of putting on and taking a mask is incredibly energy consuming. And
Yes.
so, that's where you tend to see, and that's really what happens with my clients. Like even my there are themes, and like now at this time of the year, people
Yeah.
are very anxious about overwhelm. I think
Hmm.
I've had four clients today, and two of them were on overwhelm. So there do tend to be themes, but they're like seasonal themes.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of your question before. But to answer more directly, the blurred lines is there tends to be data that supports that who I am in my life, the more I carry who I am, the more I know who I am and bring who I am forward and share it freely as a gift, my
Yeah.
satisfaction will tend to go up. So that's
That,
where that blur
yeah.
comes from within the
Mm.
industry. How much sense am I making?
A lot, because I'm kind of relating this personally at this moment. And I've seen professionally the places I've shown the most is places where I've been able to bring my own personal, authentic self to work. I've not had to kind of switch between those masks. So I hear what you're saying. But, when those professional and personal lines in coaching are blurring, what are some of the challenges they pose for you as a coach?
Hmm. Let me ask clarifying question, which is that in my
Yeah.
personal life, when my personal life and my profession is blurring, how does that show up for me? There you go.
When you're maybe coaching your clients and you're seeing,
Mhm.
maybe the professional and personal lines are blurring over there, maybe you're having to coach them on both aspects of maybe someone going through overwhelm because of a personal situation and maybe how that's showing up in their professional success. Maybe they're looking for a promotion or they're looking at leveling up, so when those
Yeah,
lines are blurring, what are
yeah.
what are the challenges that poses for you as a coach?
Yeah, yeah, that is so good. Um, People come to coaching usually because they want to work on how they're doing or what they're doing. But the
Hmm.
truth of change management and intentional change model is that it all starts with who you are. And
Yeah.
so as a coach, I'm always circling back to the who they are, because if I am an artist, what I do is create art, and how I do that is by drawing pictures. So the way, if I want to suddenly start creating a lot of money, I need to start with who I believe I am. Oh, no, no, I'm
Hmm.
not just an artist. I'm also an entrepreneur. Oh, that changes what I do. Now I'm going to go and be entrepreneurial and do that. And how I'm going to do that is so there's this change
Yeah.
model. And so we're always talking, or not always really, but I'm kind of
Yeah.
moving clients towards who they are. And if you get that who nice and straightforward or nice and clear, and that is empowering, what they do and how they do it, that just falls into place.
That's a very powerful thought, because that's almost like the channel you choose at the end of the day could be different, but you need to know what you like, who you are, in order to be able to channelize that to begin with. And that's really where you're focused on.
Totally. And if you know who you are, I mean, the benefits are long, but that may also get back to who I am in a professional setting and who I am. I am just a person who is, I love people no matter what. I love people no matter how bad they do. I'm a person who loves people. That will carry through into my work life, into my personal life, into my relational life, social, emotional, in every vertical. And that's how I know in a coaching engagement, oh, we did it. Because if our work is deep and we're working on who they are, never, ever is it just that I got a promotion. It's almost always I got a promotion and the relationship with my children has changed, and I'm talking to my parents again, and you'll see changes in so many different verticals of their life.
Wow. That's extremely powerful, and that also shows the power of coaching. It's this one thing that can affect so many dimensions, so many areas in your life, and it's just, I think it's so fulfilling as an individual at the end of the day. Hish, what are some of your coaching philosophies? I know you focus on helping people really get closer to who they are, but what are some of your philosophies, or how do you guide them to that point?
Yeah. I follow I tend to follow the coaching standard, which is the International Coaching Federation. So they're kind of the accrediting body, and I kind of recommend all coaches because it standardizes the industry. So I follow that standard in session, but the broad philosophies that are guiding sessions are kind of an amalgamation of Vipassana meditation, which is a deep part of my practice and who I am. iPEC School of Coaching, where I train, that's kind of the school that I train other coaches through. Shirzad's positive intelligence model, the coactive model. So I've kind of taken piece of my continued learning is always continuing, but I'm kind of taking pieces and then also having experiences on my own. But here's one, here's a philosophy that comes from the iPEC school, which is that you can't make a mistake.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah. This one kind of rattles people sometimes. What do you mean I can't make a mistake? That can't be true. And so in session, I'll tend to use this if people are ruminating or mulling on something that they've done for a long time, and there could be shame, and that would be really normal for that shame to pop up. But it's kind of saying, given what's happened in your life and how your entire life has unfolded, of course, you made the decision that you made at that time because you were taking all the information you could, and with that, you're going to make the best decision that you always can. Now, that decision might be harmful, it might be hurtful, it might hurt a lot of people, and it might have consequences. But that doesn't change the fact that usually, if you look at the intention behind why people do the things they do, the intention under it tends to be really good, tends to be. That they wanted to help their family, that they wanted to fill in the blank. And so I kind of bring this in select times, and not with everybody. And this is probably one of the kind of more contentious ones. But when you do, it kind of releases some of that judgment. Oh, did I do it right or wrong? Oh, if I do this later, is it going to be good or bad? And when you stop judging so much, and that judgment quiets down, of just deciding good, bad, right, wrong, right, left, you free up a lot of energy, a lot of emotional space to actually move in a way that you really do feel proud of. So that's one of the tactics to reduce judgment. And so that's probably the high theme here, is that a lot of the philosophies
I understand.
judgment.
Yeah. On that, when you talk about actually reducing judgment and understanding intention, focusing on intention as well, how do you guide some of your executive clients, like your corporate executives, where in the larger organizations, a lot of things are pinned on doing things the right way and the wrong way, How does this philosophy make its way in that space?
Yeah. Wow. Shawnee, you are so good at. Do you coach undercover coach with those questions? In the workplace, how this shows up in a black and white environment.
Yeah.
It shows up so many ways. And so,
Yeah. A lot more.
I will tend to see if my client is not a black and white person, if my client is operating at a really high level of consciousness and they're seeing opportunities everywhere. And so, in one frame of lens, here's one frame is like, okay, this frame is that I see black and white, right and wrong, you do it or you don't do it. And then I take it off and I put on these glasses. And with these glasses, there cannot be a mistake and there's nothing that's wrong. Everything's more information. And the more information I get, the more informed I'm going to be about my next step. So if I have a client who's wearing these glasses, but the organization is operating at this level, you better bet there's going to be a mismatch. You better bet. If somebody's seeing opportunity everywhere and it's running this, the chiefs are all running in a black and white lens. And so I just validate that. Oh, so it's, of course, that would be the case. Yeah.
So it's also about picking your space intentionally. That can allow you to kind of move with non-judgment as well. That's I mean, I think when I reflect on some of my personal decisions or even professional decisions, I think at the back of my mind, that is something I have looked at. Is like, is my understanding of right and wrong, does that resonate with the people I'm working with? Is there space for my idea of the way I'm navigating life and my professional journey? Is there space for that at my workplace? So I'm kind of connecting, everything you're saying to my own experiences. That's the best way I contextualize for myself. And there are sometimes there are things you do, but you don't kind of label them. You don't consciously think, like I never thought of non-judgment or not making mistakes, but finding resonance or giving yourself grace really for things. I've learned that over a period of time, I think. And with that, I know you coach a lot of coaches, you train a lot of coaches. With this, with the kind of volatility that is there in the industry today, with so much change that is there, what do you think are some of the new required skills for coaches?
The big thing with coaching is that anyone can hang their shingles and say, I'm a coach, even though they've never gone through coaching school. And they may very well be very insightful and deep people. So that's not to say that isn't true, but the skills are many. There's all these different ways to listen and levels of listening. There's a way to show up for your coaching. It's such a dynamic thing. Like if we were coaching right now, Ashani, and you and how this is coming up in your life and how you're resonating with it, I might offer something, but I have no clue if how that'll resonate with you. And so true coaching, no matter what, is client-led. It is not diagnostic. I would never say, Ashani, because you want to do this, that, you should do this. This is what you should do. Here are your action items. That would be a consultant or maybe a mentor. A true coach believes that no matter what, you have the answers to every single problem that you're showing with, and I am your teammate. You are the expert in you, and I am the expert in process, and I will never be the expert in you. And so that is such an important embodiment from a coach that, hey, your clients are the expert in them. They have all the answers they need. And I legitimately don't. And that's perfect because I know coaching strategies and human psychology, blah, blah, blah. And it's the coming together of both that creates transformation for people's lives.
That's such a golden rule, right? Like, it's not your job as a coach to be prescriptive or to diagnose. It's your job to lead and guide through your process. So really being that expert in the process as a coach. That's such a, I see that as like the number one golden rule for coaching over here. And Hish, as you look back in the last couple of years, uh, how do you think coaching has shifted? Or maybe how has it not shifted? How has it not changed as well? Because in the last few years, the world, we as people, we've gone through so much change. The way we function,
Yeah.
the way we function and show up in our professional lives and personal lives has changed so much. Have you seen or not seen a shift in the coaching world as well?
Oh yeah. Always shifting, right? Always shifting. The only constant is change. Change is the
Yeah.
only constant. So you better bet that world is shifting, always shifting, and will only continue to shift. But some recent shifts are, people. I'd say a couple of years ago, when people are like, "Oh, he's your coach." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a coach." Like, "Oh, what? You coach kids soccer?" And I'd be like, "Oh, no."
Not
So
that coach.
they had more.
Yeah.
I had more of those kinds, and that's not to rag on kids soccer coaching. I actually really want to get into that legitimately, but that's no judgment on that at all. It's just that there was a lot less awareness of what um, coaching is and how it benefits
Mm-hmm.
a person. That's still pretty low, but on the rise.
Yeah.
So I've seen that's becoming more common that, "Oh, coach, yeah, my auntie talked about it, and her kid is a coach." And so there's more general understanding, a little learning about what it is. And then on the supply side, you're getting a lot more people going to coaching school generally. So you're kind of getting increase in quality, increase in increase in demand and supply. So there's a lot more coaching kind of on the market.
Do you think that's because there are more people looking at that holy trinity, looking for that sweet spot and giving more thought to what they want to do?
Oh my God, Shani, don't ask me, because I'm like, everyone should be a coach. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
ask me. I don't know. It's for their own, choosing, of course. But
Yes.
it's
Yes.
it is a rewarding profession, and it can pay well, and it is something you can own, and it comes with its own challenges and own benefits, like anything else.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the biggest shifts you've seen in the industry, though, in the last few years? And I mean, are coaches becoming more specialized? You did mention, maybe more people are going to coaching school now, more people are becoming coaches. But are you also seeing more specialization, or is there more a shift towards, integrating different philosophies and remaining more generic as well?
The ICF would recommend, they recommend better niche down, niche down,
Yeah.
niche down. And there's a good business argument to niche down,
Yeah.
so I totally hear it. But on kind of the highest level, everyone's going to be telling you how to play the rules of life, do this, do that, do this,
Yeah.
do that. But at the end of the day, of course, we decide the success metrics. So in some ways, we're playing the game. We
Yeah.
take it or don't take what they say. We are, and we're also creating the game. I create the rules for winning and losing. And so a lot of people will say better niche, better not. A lot of people say a lot of things, of course. And it's really, we are the own kind of creators. So I've clearly done just fine. I'm successful
Yeah.
without niching. And so not necessarily a need to niche down, but that a change is that we're seeing a lot come in. People are starting to know about what it is. The ICF
Mm-hmm.
stamp, that ICF accredited, is starting to become more valuable. So people are like, "Oh, you're stamped by the ICF. That matters."
Mm-hmm.
So that accreditation is starting to become more valuable. And I think the big one is businesses are realizing,
The
oh,
bar. Hmm.
the consultants aren't solving it, and so there's a space, there's the time and a
Yeah.
space for what we do, and it's enormously supportive of culture,
Yeah.
leadership, growth, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you know, you mentioned this earlier. I mean, a couple of years back, I don't think I saw companies offering professional coaching to their employees, but that's becoming more a conversation. There are more, I think, services, you know, aggregated services coming up for, you know, coaching on demand. So I think coaching is definitely gaining momentum with both people becoming coaches, but I think also organizations and individuals realizing the power in coaching. I know how much I refer people to just coaching. I'm like, just give the 6 months of your life to coaching and see you know, the change it can bring in your life. Because I was someone, I had a positive intelligence coach, and just as an
Mm-hmm.
individual, you know, understanding how my strengths can also be my saboteurs. It was just a powerful, life changing concept for me, because it allowed me to check it at the points where it was becoming a saboteur for me. And so I feel like just those few months, or the time I invested with that coach, has been transformational for me.
Shawnee, I did not know that you were steeped in some of the shared language of the judge and the saboteurs and the sage. That
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
powerful modality. It is, and it's not
it is.
surprising
Yeah.
at all that it is supporting you in your life. And I couldn't agree more. I have a coach. I will always have a coach. I'm always
Yeah.
leveling up my game and what I'm doing. So, way to go for it.
Thank you. And let me round this out with our final question here before, and we have a rapid fire after that, because we always do a rapid fire here at our Navigating
Okay.
Now. But let me round it out with this question. You know, I'm a very firm believer that happiness is a choice, and everything we do, you know, be it a job, a promotion, a startup, wanting to make money, it's with this belief that it'll make us happy. But sometimes, more often than not, I've seen in the professional space, like people like myself, sometimes the choices we make, we think might make us happy, but they don't. You know, we don't necessarily always understand that strong correlation between our choices and happiness and picking happiness. uh, what's Hish's advice, one advice on understanding how to
Mm,
make the right choices? I'm saying right choices ironically, but the choices that would actually make you happy.
yeah. Wow, what a great question. And the first thing coming to mind is to make that your goal. So, what I
Hmm.
mean by that is really often I want to open a new coffee shop. And when I open up that coffee shop, I will feel freedom.
Hmm.
The goal isn't really the coffee shop, the goal is freedom. And so,
Yeah.
when you change the orientation to achieving the emotion associated with success, that success begins happening today and tomorrow. What do I need to do to create freedom? Because we know that when you climb the mountain and get to the top and you actually open up the coffee shop, you may feel freedom and you also may feel anything else you don't know, you can't know. So,
Yeah.
perhaps a recommendation would be think about the goal, what feeling is associated with that goal, and orient and maximize towards that feeling starting right now. Starting right now.
I
Don't put it
love
off.
that framework. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And Hish, we actually have a question from the live stream from Ali Masood. We all know Ali over here. And his
Hey,
question is is there a point as a coach where you recognize a client might be ready to graduate from coaching and go off on their own? Or do you feel that when signed on, it's beneficial for a client to continue with a coach indefinitely? That's a good question. That's a great question.
Ali, Ali with the question. All right.
Yeah.
So Ali, there is coaches should never continue with clients indefinitely. That's kind of my take. We are teaching the fishing pole, not the fish. The your goal and my goal as a coach is to have my clients fire me. Please fire me. That would mean that they are self-sufficient, self-generating,
Yeah.
self-producing, self able to change their mindsets within a moment in order that more support their goals. So that's one thought. And then I think there was another question there. Is there?
So yeah, it was basically the same. Do you think they should continue indefinitely, or there's a point that they graduate? So I love that, because your aim as a coach is to have to equip them with those life skills and everything that they need to kind of go off on their own. So that's really, is that the true mark of success with a client for you?
Success is whatever my client says success is. So again, it's led by them. And I ask them, what
Yes.
is success? And whatever they're shooting for their definition of success, I'll take it and just times it by 10, times 10. I'm holding them at whoever they are times 10. And that's where I'm shooting them with my questions. And then we land where we land.
That's amazing. Hish, this has been such a wonderful conversation. Thank you. And I have a very quick rapid fire, 3 questions for you.
Okay, and I'll answer them. I think I'm supposed to answer them quickly.
Yes, rapid fire, rapid answers.
Rapid fire. All right. Yes. Rapid fire, rapid answer.
My first question. This is a little bit of a visioning exercise. So in a parallel universe, a place with no rules and a place that is not Earth, what would Hish be doing and who would Hish be?
I would be meditating, and I would be, that's probably my rapid fire answer. I would be meditating more, even more.
Yeah. Do you have a star that you like? Would you be sitting on a star and meditating, or just out in the universe?
No, I think I'd be in a mountainous landscape, and I would be surrounded by peers in a community, and I wouldn't be necessarily teaching. I might be also, I'd be a student and a teacher within a setting like that.
Oh, so serene, so beautiful.
Yeah.
My second question is, what's the best life advice you've received, and from whom? I actually ask this one very often to people, and I love it.
Yeah, I think the best advice I've received is actually from the iPEC School of Coaching, honestly. And it's from the founder, Bruce D Schneider. And it's kind of that principle that I shared before, which is that a lot of people will tell you how to play the game of life, but you are the game creator. You're the game creator. You decide.
Yeah, that's powerful. Thank you. And last question. This is my favorite. Think about something that you admire about self and fill in the blank. If the world were more like me, it would be more.
Wow, what a good question. I kind of want to use the word non-judgmental. That's a skill I think I've brought forward into the world.
It's a great skill, and it takes practice. Yeah. Well, love that answer. Thank you so much, Hish. It's been a pleasure having you here today. And this conversation was probably the best part of my day today, and maybe even my week. So thank you so much for this conversation.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for having me. It is such a blessing and an honor. Thanks, Ashani.
Well, you have a great day, and hope to see you soon sometime. If you're in Chicago, drop by.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Same for you in San Diego.
Well, thank you so much for everyone who tuned in today. Once again, we are live every Thursday at 3 p.m. Central Time. Tune in next week for another very powerful conversation. I'm Ashani Gupta signing off. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.